We're coming close to the end here. So now it's going to be mounting your CC3D and hooking it up to your receiver. So this guy here came with some cables. Came with here to hook up to the receiver, and it came with these two, which look pretty interesting. Each have 4, so I could probably hook one up to a GPS and the other one up to say a barometer. I have lots of those kicking around the house right now, so it should be really easy to get a barometer on this guy at least, which is kind of weird it doesn't come with one. But anyways, I'll show you how to hook this up. It's not really that hard. So I'll just move this back here. So I looked on Google a little bit, and these cables come differently, but it really doesn't matter which way you plug them on, because if you do the wizard, it'll set them all up for you anyways, whichever way. So the colors would be like this for it. So the first one is red, black, or actually black, red, and it skips a couple and goes to white, which other cables show it being for the third one, but whatever. So we'll put this one there. So the next color is blue. They did a bunch of repeating colors on this cable too, so it makes it a little bit more confusing. So I'll put this one for number 2. Then the next one is yellow. So I'm just going in order. So if you have a different receiver, just go 1, 2, 3, 4 type thing. Next one is green. And then blue and yellow. I'm not really going to be using the switches right now. The yellow. Alright, so it goes like that. Which just really doesn't help you because the color codes are all messed up anyways. Alright, and then this guy just simply plugs into here. So I'm just going to show you out of the quadcopter, and then I'll mount it whichever way. So all your 4 ESC wires, if you have a middle wire, the red wire, you're going to want to remove the red wire out of 3 of them. Handy part about having all these extra becks is you can use them for other things, for 5-volt things. So if you have telemetry, you can use that from one of them to power it. Okay, so you're going to want to find some heat shrink or some electrical tape and tape these guys up. Right, so that's good. Alright, so basically I'm probably going to mount this guy here. So if you take off these 2 screws here, you can lift this guy up like this so you can set everything in easier. The USB part goes in the back that way like this. So just stand over top of it just to make sure you're pretty center. You want to be in the center right here. Okay, before I get too far here, the motors here, again it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the APM it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first one still has the red wire in it, and this guy's going to be placed here with orange at the top, red in the middle, and brown at the end. So switch positive ground. The next one for motor 2 just goes in number 2. And that's it for the motors. That's the way they go. So what you can do right now too, which most people do, is they just wrap the motor wires around here like this. At least that's what the picture from eBay shows it. And alright, this guy's being a little pain in the butt right now. So I'll place it here upside down. It might fit that way. See? Like that. Yeah, I think that'll work. It'll be really a pain in the butt to get back to those wires after, but it works that way. I guess. Good enough. Probably want to zip tie these guys up as well. Or maybe not, because that'll give you the room to open it. Like that. Okay, I also turn this guy around, so it's going to be easier to plug into USB now. Directly this way, like that. The way I had it before was wrong. Alright, and then the lights I just placed there and slap pads there. Like that. The lights would probably go somewhere else better, but the lights should be protected with these and how I have these raised up. And yeah, I think I would put some stickers or some Loctite on these screws as well, because I have a feeling they might vibrate out. A lot of these screws might vibrate out. Okay. Alright, so the last thing here are just the blades here. So there should be pictures on them anyways. If not, this part should be facing upwards. Goes on that side. Again, this is going down, this side's going up. The up goes here. So they're both going up towards the middle. And same with the ones in the back. You want them going up towards the middle and down. So these two sides are going pointing downwards. So if you put, say, a pencil or something, it should be touching the paper there, touching the paper there type thing, like that, and like that, and then the middle should be pointing upwards, like that. But anyways, okay, I'm going to jump into the software now, and yeah. And before I forget, for the next step, when you hook it up to the computer, make sure you take off these blades. It's really important you do, because one of the calibrations is spinning the motors.
Alright, so open up LibrePilot. I'm not even sure how to pronounce that one. But anyways, I'll add a link in the description, hopefully. So plug in your quad. You notice I rearranged it here so it plugs in easier now, that way. Alright, so I'm not going to get into too much details with this program. You should be able to get flying in about 3 minutes or so, or maybe a little bit more, just by going through the wizard. It's actually a really good wizard. So I'll just click on the upgrade. Once that's done, click next. Click next again. Pick PWM if you're using the same kind of receiver as me. Otherwise, pick the one you need. Next. Multi. It's already chosen. Defaulted. Next. So, like I was trying to say earlier, it's set up differently again. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's different than the CX20 and the APM 2.6 and stuff. Click next. Here you can try the standard first. If you have problems with it, then try the rapid. You have to look up the specs on your ESC. So first I'll just try this guy. Next. So just don't touch anything here. So this is just the leveling part of it. Just make sure it's leveled really good. Next. Alright, the ESC calibration. The 3 check marks in here. You can still do it the old way too, if you know how to do it with the battery and stuff like that right through the receiver. But mine's still buried. I may as well just do it through this guy anyways. So this is really easy. So you push the start button. Plug in the battery. Those two things. Push stop. So now just leave the battery in. So now it's all calibrated. Click next. Again, next. Push start. So just move this very slowly. And try not to go back and forth with it. Just go in one motion. And as soon as it starts, just go a little bit more. So I'm going to go right about here. Push stop. Ideally, too, you can do them all at once, too. That's alright. Next. Next. Alright, they're all good now. This one I just pick whatever, usually the QA250. Next. Save it. This is a part of the wizard I actually wish Mission Planner would put in. Because this is what I was saying at the start. It doesn't matter which way you put the wires into the receiver, because this guy basically rearranges it for you anyways. So it's pretty cool. So click on this guy. Next. So as soon as you push next here, it's going to start getting you to do stuff. So turn on your remote. Next. I'm going to have mode 2. It's good. Next. So just move this guy up. That's it. Well, it's this guy too, actually. And I'm not doing these guys here, so I'm just going to skip it. I'm not even going to be using that switch anyways. I'm just going to disable when I'm done. Okay, so center these buttons. Okay, I have nothing backwards, so that's good. Go to the next. Next. And then this guy here, I'm just going to set it for roll left. So when I want to arm the quad, I have to go this way with it. You can do it whichever way you want. So roll left. And then save it. Alright, so now I'm going to go to here, and I'm just going to disable flight mode 5, that switch, because I'm not going to be using it. Save it. And then that's it. So next part of the video is just a little quick video of me flying it, and that's about it. Again, I'm not going to get too much detail, like I said, about this program here. I'm not even sure if I'm going to keep using this CC3D. The next mod I'll be adding to it maybe is the barometer, because I have about 20 of those kicking around the house, so it'll be really easy to hook up a barometer to it. But besides that, I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to continue on with the CC3D or not. I'll see after anyways. Oh, my heart just went fucking crazy there.
Alright, so the damage on the quad from that nice little mishap, one broken blade, and the frame actually held up. I thought for sure that the frame was cracked and that's what went flying off the quad, but it was actually my little camera I just put on it for just with tape. This ESC, the one I waited 3 weeks to get to finish up this video, the same side actually fried. So I'm not sure when it hit the ground if it pinched some wires or if this blade actually hit this ESC somehow and just started some kind of weird chain reaction to fry the ESC. If that's what happened, maybe I'm gonna have to look more into somehow protecting the ESCs from the blades themselves, because that would kind of suck if it happened again. But anyways, that's about it. All in all, this quad is actually a fun little thing. It held up the one crash. I just don't know how many crashes it could actually take. And this one, on the other hand, is extremely fast. And if you happen to crash it at full speed, it'd probably just smash into 100 different little pieces. And then it goes back to the other thing too with replacing this ESC again. I have to take apart the entire quad just to get to that board. So if you're into racing these guys or whatever, I would probably put the board underneath it and somehow solder the wires underneath as well. Somewhere where you have easy access to the ESC wires because you want to replace them easily. The other thing too is just adding bullet connectors to the ESCs, and that'd probably make the most sense. But hopefully you're not frying them too often. But if an arm ripped off, it would probably pinch the wires anyways and fry an ESC the same way. My other screw up I had done, and I actually cut myself pretty good, was I put zip ties to hold the battery. When I got to the quad, I thought the quad was actually on fire, so I ripped the battery out as quick as I could, but somehow I hurt myself. But anyways, a little blood and gore, not bad. Anyways, that's it, guys. Alright, so I'm just going to jump back in the video again. I had to re-edit this video again because I found out what the problem actually was. So here's the ESC that actually burned. I thought it was the blade that hit it, but I was actually wrong. So the whole time, it was the motor that was actually dead. This guy here works sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't. But I hooked up another ESC, this guy, to it here, and it almost fried this ESC. And then I originally had this guy on it at the beginning of the video, because this video here has been in the making for probably about 2.5 months. It was actually all done, but I just didn't want to release this video until I had the proper ESC. But this quadcopter kept on tipping with this one, so I just didn't want to release it. And then I waited for the new ESC, it burnt out, and it happened to be this motor. So I got this guy here. I'll just show you guys what a good motor looks like. You could just use an ohm meter too, but it gives me a purpose to use my little toy. So basically all I'm really after is the resistance here. So it shows it properly. It's 0.23 ohms there and 0.19 ohms there. It shows it that it's bridged between number 1 and number 2, and then number 2 and number 3. I'm not saying that's exactly right, but it gives you a reference to go on at least. So then if I hook up this guy here, and the tricky thing is sometimes it actually gives me a good reading, and then sometimes it doesn't. But obviously there's a dead short somewhere in one of the windings. So I already got refunded by the guy for the ESC. I ordered 4 more motors anyways, but I had another project in mind, so now I have to use one of those motors, I guess. And ESCs. But I ordered another 4 ESCs anyways. Just gotta make sure those wires aren't touching. Okay. I think I got it there. So yeah, so that's what it gives me when it's a bad one. Basically it's shorted between number 1 and number 2. Or it's actually saying it's open. And it's only showing me 0.05 ohms from number 2 to number 3, and from number 1 to number 3 it's showing 0.13. But anyways, I was wrong, but like usual, I always get screwed up parts with my products. I guess it's the guys from eBay just getting really bad parts. Alright guys, that's it. Like and subscribe, and that's it.